Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Birds TV with Adam Caplan and Geoff Mosher, presented, of course, by DraftKings Sportsbook. And it's been too long, I say, that we had our next guest on. I mean, he was a regular with us. He was on so many of our shows last year, and the Eagles were an abomination. And it turns out the Eagles are still an abomination. So we need to have Trey Thomas come back to talk to us. Trey, you have been a busy dude. You're down in Florida. You're coaching the offensive line at IMG. So you actually get to see good football played out on a daily basis. How's it going down there?
Oh, it's been going well, man. We're just down here kicking ass right now. We've been extremely successful down here right now. We've been rolling through teams. We had a pretty good matchup a couple weeks ago where we had a 2-week layoff. We had 2 bye weeks back to back. So, the team that we play, I can't even remember what the name of the team was, that they ended up it was kind of a close matchup. But then we got back on stride last week. We beat a team 49-8. We just down here doing what we do, man.
Yeah, what's that good football like? Can you tell me what good football looks like? Because Adam and I haven't seen too much lately.
You know what? It looks like, because a lot of people, like, they look at our school and they're like, oh, y'all just have these great athletes or whatever. And it's like, we do have really good athletes on our team. But a lot of people don't want to take into account, like, how well we execute. Like, you look at our coaching staff. If you just look at just our coaching staff, we probably have over 8 years of NFL experience combined on our coaching staff. I mean, Mike Sellers is our running back coach who played 14 years in the NFL. Chris Dishman is our secondary coach who played secondary coach / defensive coordinator who played 14 years in the league. Pepper Johnson is our head coach, who played 14, 15 years in the league. Our defensive line coach, Ernie Logan, is there. He played 8, 9 years in the league. And then me as the offensive line coach, I'm right there 12. And our director, George Hegerman, who was over us, who played 8, 9 years. So you have a lot of NFL experience on the field, as coaches. And I think that one of the things that make us what we are is just how well we execute, man.
Trey, how hard, because Geoff and I have talked about this with an issue with the Eagles, is how hard they coach the players. How hard, because you guys all play in the league. So, and these are kids, and I understand they're elite, in terms of athleticism, but how hard do you guys coach these guys?
Extremely hard. We coach them just like as if they were in the league, like if they were in college. We don't treat them like high school players. Our approach is very physical. It's a very aggressive style, especially for our team. We have the national team. So our athletes are going to be a little bit more of a high caliber type style athlete. Most of our guys are going on to Division I schools, going on to the Alabama, the Clemsons of the world. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why those universities come and get our kids, because they know that they've been coached extremely hard and that they'll be able to handle the way it's going to be once they move on to college.
Trey, do me a favor. Send a few of those kids up to State College, Pennsylvania, please, for our Nittany Lions, if you could.
Well, we had one that was – we do. We have our running back is going to Penn State. K-Tron. What is K-Tron's last name? Once you start coaching and working with these kids, you all give them all nicknames and everything.
They're just player number this and nickname that. Yeah.
So K-Tron is our running back. He'll be going to Penn State. And then we had an offensive lineman that was supposed to be going there, but he didn't make it with us. He wanted to go home.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll look out for K-Tron though.
Yeah.
So tell me, I know you're down there, but I've seen that you've been keeping up on the Eagles and seen how they've been stumbling at the start here at 2-5. The new coaching staff. I think us in this profession, we always expect a transition period. But when you watch and see what's going on, what's the biggest takeaway you've had so far?
When you start hearing a lot of the grumblings, just things that are going on, when you start hearing players starting to complain about what the situations are, or, when stuff that starts seeping out of the locker room and starts making it into the public eye, then that's when it starts becoming a problem. I think that, guys are really, no one wants to go out there and lose, no one wants to go out there and be the butt of all the jokes and everything. So, your team really wants to go out there and be successful. But I just feel like, when you look at it as a whole, that, it's just a lack of execution. Are you getting certain things done? you've been seeing some points scored towards the end of the games, where it's like, all right, it doesn't make it look as bad because you're just like, all right, you know what? We put up, you come out there, you look at the Raiders game, and then it's like, all right, 30-22. But for a while, it was 30-7. So, it took a little while to get things going. So, to me, it just looks like it's just a lot of lack of execution and just some things where you need you guys to be a little bit more accountable.
Trey, in your first year with Andy Reid in '99, I think you guys might have been 6-10, maybe somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
But during that season, because I get Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni, two completely different people in terms of personality. But did you feel any momentum as that late? I know you guys beat the Rams. I know the Rams rested player. I think it was the last week. But did you ever feel like, okay, I know our record isn't very good, but we're building some momentum? Do you remember back then, if the first year with Andy, if you guys were building something?
Well, I think that one of the things that you picked up real quick with Andy Reid is that, there was a aura of discipline that just had to come in right out the gate. There is no, all of that, hey, we might stay overnight in the city that we played in, or, the stuff that Ray Rose would kind of let slide a little bit. When Andy Reid came in, it was an iron fist. Look, these are the rules. Either you play by rules or you get gone. And, that's one of the things that I think that made us kind of get together as a team. And I think that, training camp was a lot more physical. The whole regiment was a lot more, taxing on you. And I think that, he demanded everyone to be where they needed to be. And either you want to do that, or he was going to make sure you got out of here. So, I think that was one of the things that Andy Reid brought to our team. And then once those rules were set in place, then your leaders kind of grew up in it, and it kind of helped keep everybody in check, So then it kind of takes it off the coach, and then you have that leadership role, leaders there that just kind of pull everybody together, and that leads the ship.
Trey, the Eagles defense has been called boring. It's been called vanilla. There's been criticisms of playing the safeties, 20 miles away from scrimmage, not blitzing. I mean, you're an offensive player, an offensive lineman. When you look at what the Eagles do, both up front and then from top to bottom as a defense, has it been too predictable? What would you change about it?
Well, okay, so they have two different things that they're doing, all right? So they're the basis of their defense is a nickel defense. They're going to play a nickel, or they're going to play a version of a 4-3. All right. So when I'm saying a nickel, you're going to have 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and the rest will be secondary players. All right. 5 secondary players. Or if they're going to play like a version of a 4-3, where they're going to have your 4 D linemen, and then you're going to have your 3 linebackers. You got Avery, that's one of them. So what they do usually when it's like in the first down series, when it's first and second down, when they expect and run, they go to that 4-3 defense, but they make it a 5-man front. So now you're going to put Avery on the outside, and then you kind of shift the other 4 across, and then you have 2 linebackers in the middle, okay? Well, the problem with that is it's not a true 5-down front, because you don't put the 5. Usually in a 5-down front, you have a guy that's right over the center that's going to be the nose, okay? Well, the problem is they put him at a shade, where they put him at one side of the center or the other. And what that does, it helps you create a situation where now if you want to run zone, you just run to the shade. You see what I'm saying? So if you have a one technique, anytime when I'm looking at a team, or whenever I'm talking about setting up a run or something like that, I'm looking for zone. Where can we create combination blocks? And when you put that nose guard at a shade, then now you can get a combination block between center and guard, and now they get a good push up to the linebacker, and that's what helps with the run game a lot of the times. And then now you have a situation where if your linebackers don't play downhill, you're getting that push up the middle. There you go. I mean, it is what it is, And then when they switch over to the nickel, the linebackers all, now they switch their linebackers in, you bring the other ones in, and then now those guys play back. Their reaction is to play back and drop into coverage instead of going in and attacking. And it's just, they've been getting caught off guard a lot.
Trey, when you look at their defense and kind of their struggles here, and Geoff was just talking about how their safeties are deep, what adjustments do you think Jonathan Gannon can make, their defensive coordinator make going forward, to at least not feel like the offense has to carry the load? They're not carrying the load, but their defense has been so disappointing past week 1. What could he do here adjustment-wise?
You know, a lot of times you say, okay, the safeties are back. Yeah, safeties are back sometimes, and sometimes they have the safety playing in the box. You know, where they have the safeties playing down. You know, and now which opens up even more because now you only have one linebacker, you have a safety in the box. We're going to run the ball. We're going to push the ball right up in the middle of that. You know, if we can get to the second, you think a safety really wants to get in the box and play down in there? So, you know, I think that you can run some more games. You can kind of, you know, do what you can to, you know, probably run some more games. Try to come up with some more creative ways of blitzing. You know, you have a physical front, but, you know, I think that you kind of negate it a little bit. When you do come with that nose guard that's at a shade, it kind of opens you up to now you can create combination blocks. When you go back and you look at what Oakland did against, I mean, what the Vegas Raiders did against them, you know, one of the things that they did is they made 2-1 techniques over the center. So now that makes it extremely hard. So now you can say, all right, yeah, you can combination block to the other side, but now you putting that other backside guard in a situation because he can't get to the one technique. Now you got somebody in the backfield, you know, so that kind of creates some mismatches when you're talking about how to scheme it.
Why do you think he's doing that kind of a defensive line alignment, which clearly through 7 weeks has not really helped the team at all? It's not helped the pass rush, and it's certainly not helped the run defense. Is it something we're missing, or a long-term thing that he's trying to get them to learn from now for later?
Well, naturally, just a 5-man front is kind of hard to run against. You know what I'm saying? It should be hard to run against because you kind of have everybody where it creates a situation where if you put a true nose guard directly over the center, that means that your center has to be able to hold it down. You know what I'm saying? But when you put him at a shade, now you can create a combination block. And that's what that's the problem, I think. But if you have him just as a nose, now you make the center have to block man, and then now the combination blocks have to be on the outside. So, but you need to have somebody that can just crush a center. Back when Chip Kelly was here, I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but you know, one of the things that they ran was that 3-4 defense, and you have to have a nasty nose guard when you do that because now you put the center at a problem. Yeah, you can get combination blocks on the outside, but the pressure is going to happen right there in the middle. But then you need your linebackers to need to be physical. So I think that that's one of the problems that you find, especially in the run game, is that nose guard, whoever that they have playing over the center, they get him in the shade. And then now, once I find the shade, I'm running at that shade because now I can get a combination block on it.
Turning our attention to the offense, it's also been majorly disappointing. After a good start against Atlanta, their offense has regressed. Geoff and I, each week we go, it's just such a mess. It's like, where do you start? So you as an offensive line guy and an offensive guy, from what you see from this offense, what are the problems and what could be done about it?
I think that one of the things that you're seeing is that they're running away from the one technique. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I wish I could show y'all the film and really get into this with you guys because it's very – anytime you want to run inside zone, let's just look at the offense as a whole. When you're talking about inside zone is going to be run between the tackles. Outside zone, of course, is going to be on the outside. When I'm looking at saying, all right, if I want to run an inside zone run, I want to run at the one technique because now I can get a combination block between guard and center, working up to the linebacker. We have a 3 technique usually on the back end side, and I can get a combination block between the backside guard, backside tackle, and we work up to the linebackers. And then now that allows the running back, you know, front side tackle, he blocks man. If you want to bring a backside tight end on the back end to cut off that defensive end on the backside, but either way, the back can hit in those little creases. Each inside zone run is designed to have a cutback built into it, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of times what happens now, if you run it to the 3 technique, you can't get a combination block between the guard and center on a 3 technique. You see what I'm saying? Because now that 1 technique is on the back end, and if the center leaves, then all the 1 technique is going to do is just slant across that guard's face. Then you bring the backside linebacker down, and that's what creates the penetration. I think a lot of times you see them running to the 3 technique instead of saying, you know what, hey man, check, black over. Let's run it to the 1 technique, and then now we can get some push and get some success.
Whose responsibility is that? Is that the offensive coordinator not designing it? Is it the quarterback not checking into it? Is it the center not recognizing? I mean, it feels like that's something that's correctable.
Yeah, it's something that's correctable. It's something that you're going to go over in practice. I don't know. Like, you know, for us, like, sometimes you might just call a run, and it's just like, all right, this is what we're going to call. You just call a run, and you don't have any black overs, you don't have any outs built into it. You just say, all right, you know what, this is what we're going to do. And a lot of times you see, all right, a lot of people were saying, okay, well, Hurts has been pulling it, because you do some of these zone read runs, and all quarterbacks are taught when you get into the RPO world is like, all right, if you see that backside defensive end crash, then you pull it. And that's what he's been doing. You see the backside defensive end crash, you pull it, and then now you get your pass. Well, a lot of teams are saying, all right, well, I know that rule as well. All right, you pull it. Well, I'm going to send that backside linebacker. You look at what happened against Tampa Bay, for example. You had the defensive end come crashing. That linebacker that was supposed to come crashing, what he did, he floated over the top of it. And then now here you go. You got pressure right in his face because he pulled because the defensive end crashed. And then now you got a linebacker over the top. Bam, quarterback, there you go. You have a problem. So, to me, I think that, they need to look at, all right, possibly having some built-in black overs just designed into their run package. But, you don't do that in the zone read run action. You know what I'm saying? You don't, because they feel like, all right, well, my out is if I see that backside guy crash and then we just pull it and then we have a pass built into it. That's not always going to work because defenses know that rule as well.
Well, this is what Adam and I spend a lot of time talking about, is that people watch the Eagles offense and they call it a college offense. And they don't just mean that, I think, from RPO world, as you're talking about, even like the lack of being able to see the defense, change the call, like things that you see an a conventional NFL offense do, you don't see with the Eagles. It seems like every single play is overly schemed to just carry out the responsibility of that play and not react to what you're seeing from the defense.
Yeah, that's exactly what you see. I mean, to me, as a person that sits around and I'm sitting up here drawing up plays and all that, I'm always looking at, okay, you know what? If we have a pass call, if the defense, I don't care what the defense shows, what the down distance is, if it's 3rd and 6 or whatever. If we come out there and we have a pass called in the defense and we have the right box, I want to be able to check to a run. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that, all right, hey, they're light in the box. We only got 5 in the box. Hey, man, check to a run. We can get 6 yards off the run. We can do it if everything is lined up the way we want it. We have that one technique, got a 3 technique on the backside. Hey, man, call it inside zone. All we got to do is get to the linebacker, and we're off and running. But a lot of times you see coaches at times just say, hey, man, you know what? We're just going to call this, and this is what we're going to go with. And if they, it is what it is, and then we'll learn from it.
Trey, Jordan Mailata got his extension. Now, unfortunately, he got hurt with an MCL sprain. He's fine now, but his development here, I know you've looked at this player. What do you think of him so far as an Eagle in his development?
I think he's been doing extremely well. He's developed extremely well. I think he's growing. He's so massive that, guys aren't going to bull rush him. So that's a good for him. One of the things that you just saw against the Raiders game is that, guys are going to start, all right, I'm not going to bull rush you. Well, I'm going to see where you are with your technique, and you started seeing him getting edged a couple times where now, you're going to have to be able to shoot your hands and punch and do all this stuff that tackles normally have to deal with out there. And, that caused him a couple problems in against the Raiders, but I think that, he's developing in the right direction, and just switching sides can be difficult at times when you go from right and then now you back to left and all of that. That can wear on you a little bit just with balance and muscle memory and stuff like that. But I think that he's definitely going to be one of the best in the game.
Trey, even with the understanding that the offense has been very collegey and overly schemed and has its issues, when you look at Jalen Hurts, he's played 11 games now, I believe, as a starting quarterback. What do you think? Does this guy need more time? And I'm not sure even if he does, he's going to get it. But how do you feel about the progression so far?
I think I think he's been playing. You have those moments, what I'm saying, where it looks awesome, But I think I don't know what all they're giving him at the line of scrimmage. Do you give him the freedom to say, okay, you know what, I don't like this look? Do you just say, okay, you know what, we're going to call this run. Your only read is if that defensive end crash, that's your only out. Are you giving him the tools for him to go out there and be successful? Or are you just saying, okay, stick with what we call and just go? There are times that I feel like, he does come to the pressure. He has that escapability and can get out of there, when there's a situation. But you can't always rely on that because you're going to take some bad hits. But I think he has the talent to be successful. It's just that, they just need to find when you're not winning, it makes everybody question everything that you can do. And that's where we are right now.
Would you play him more under center? Because their first drive last week was beautiful. And we've been asking for it, and they finally did it. And they did a little bit in the second series. Then when Sanders got hurt, they junked it. But would you, as an offensive line coach, and watching Eagles as you do, would you play more under center?
To me, all of that really doesn't matter. Because to me, a lot of people, because if you're playing him under center, all that's doing is putting the back right behind him. And it just kind of, and everybody, the only reason you want him under center is just because it doesn't key the defense on which way the running back is going. Because a lot of times but you could do stuff to counteract that as well. A lot of people feel like, all right, if the back is to the right, then naturally you're running to the left. So that gives them a way to say, okay, you know what, this is how we can set our defensive front based off of which way the back is lined up. But you can do quick hit runs with the back still on the same side. You just teach the quarterback, hey, just hand the ball off to the right. Just turn right instead of turning left. You just take that zone read look out of it. But I think that's the only reason that a lot of people are saying, all right, hey, just put him on the center, because that tells them like, all right, that gives the defense that doesn't allow the defense to say, okay, you know what, we don't want to set our defensive front either way. To me, I'm good with him being out of the gun, if that's where he needs to be. If he feels a little bit more comfortable out of it, you just kind of design some runs to kind of counteract that defensive shift.
Yeah, it was almost, I think we called for it less for Jalen and more for Nick to take the RPOs that were so heavily a part of the offense out just a little bit, because they were getting so skewed in a pass run ratio in these losses that we felt going under center might just force the head coach to remember what it's like to get a little run football, downhill football, and not have to make Jalen always decide light box, heavy box. And then it looked like defenses were showing light and then going heavy right at the snap to kind of disrupt that RPO. So we thought maybe that was just a way to diversify your offense without having to change everything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. To me, I'm all about, hey man. To me, the simple fixes to me is to go just find black overs. I always want to, if you can run outside zone, if we have an outside zone to the right and the defense over shifts to that side, well, we can run inside zone to the left, and and vice versa. If you have inside zone to the left and they want to box everything in down there, well, then we can go outside zone to the right. You know what I'm saying? So it's ways of counteracting that without it always being an RPO. So, but that's just my own little thing when I'm sitting around on the grease board.
I got you. All right, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code ITB. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win its game, and you can win $200 in free bets. If the team wins, you win with promo code ITB this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 10 games left here, Trey, including a game against the winless Lions. You know what it's like in this city when things don't go well, and it's been pretty rough around here. What would be your just hope for these next 10 games for the Eagles?
Well, you just got to keep watering, man. Hey, all you can do
you really have followed the Eagles. Oh, man.
Hey, man, just keep watering, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do. Just keep watering and hope that things just sprout up, and and things just keep going, man. You just want to see something, man.
Just a little fertilizer. That's all.
Just a little fertilizer. That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
ITB is brought to you by Scott's Lawn and Manicure Service. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so did you? Obviously, you saw what Nick Sirianni said there.
Yes.
You're sitting in the locker room and a coach says that, or is it different when you're a player, or do you think the outside world's a little bit overreactive to it, or do you question the metaphor?
I think as a player, you're sitting in there like, I don't know. And I think as a player, you're sitting in there like, what the hell is he talking about, man? A flower? But and no one's ever going to say anything. Everybody's just like, all right, yeah, oh yeah, hey, yeah, okay, cool. He threw a couple F-bombs in there too. Yeah, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, you sitting there like, flower, huh? Yeah, fertilizer. All right, cool.
Yeah, an effing flower.
Yeah, And sometimes, I mean, with the rah-rah speeches, a guy that guy players can see through that at times, and I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know. That might be his personality. I don't know. But I think he came out a certain type of way when he first started, with all the t-shirts and everything, and hey, beat Dallas, and and then you go out there and get your ass kicked, and he tried to be a certain type of way when you first got here, and the fan base caught on to it at first. Now everybody's like, oh my God, get rid of this guy. But before, when he came out there with the t-shirts and the AI and all that other stuff, oh, Eagles win by 5,000. Now all of that starts to stink a little bit. And then you're like, oh, you know what? He sucks. He's too much trying to play into the fan base. So, man, be yourself. Do whatever it is. If you want to talk flowers. Do whatever it is that you do. But I think that at some point, man, you got to just be real with your guys, and you're going to have to play into your leaders a little bit more. Your leaders on the team are just going to have to take over this thing. It can't just be a watered down message. It's going to have to be something where you're going to have to get in some guy's face. You're going to have to hold some of these guys accountable. And I don't know if you can do that.
How would that happen? The accountability part. You talk benching guys. Like, what would you do?
Well, can you bench guys anymore like that? Like what can you do? Like, I think that you have guys that take time off whenever they feel like it. You know what I'm saying? You take time, you give all of this time off all the time. That how can you hold guys accountable? How can And then it's tough when you have leaders. When the leaders of your group are sitting on the sideline, chilling, drinking Gatorade and water while everybody else is putting in work. So, it's you created an environment that who's going to do it?
NovaCare Country Club.
Who's going to do it? Who's going to be that voice? Who's going to be able to say, hey, you know what? Nah, man, we need to. Hey, the buck stops here. We need to, do what we got to do to kind of take control of this thing. Well, how you going to talk all that when you sitting over there and took a couple of days off chilling? You've been drinking water and Gatorade while the rest of us been out here sweating.
Yeah, no one's pushing a blocking sled around the NovaCare complex these days.
Yeah, so that in itself creates a situation as well. So it's a very tricky dynamic right now with I think around the NFL. But you got to have, and then you have to know what you have in your locker room as well. Because that's really what you need. You need your leaders to stand up. And do you have it's one thing to be a voice in front of the camera, but can you really move the crowd when you're behind closed doors? And that's the problem.
That is a great question. Trey, it's been great to catch up with you. Congratulations on your recent honoree as a Ring of Honor in the the Philadelphia Eagles. We didn't get a chance to catch up with you, but I know you were back for the game, and really awesome to have you back on ITB, and a great career accomplishment for you. And good luck with everything at IMG.
Thank you.
Undefeated, right? You're still undefeated?
Yeah, we trying to stay there, man. We have a game tonight against Auburn High School. I think. No, I don't even know what the name of the school is. I don't know, man. We got a school here in Auburn. I don't know. I do not know the name of the school for real. But anyway, we got a game.
How are you enjoying this experience, coaching high school kids and being an O-line coach? I know you love coaching, so has this been rewarding for you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. Just going out there, getting back in the trenches and working with these kids, man, has been a lot of fun, man. And like all of my guys are moving on to go. I have 3 of my guys that are moving on. My left tackle is going to Alabama. My right tackle is he's going to Georgia. My center is going to Oregon State. And my right guard is going to ECU. And then I have my backup, my left guard, who is a junior. He's going to be one of the top guards in the nation coming out next year. And then my right tackle, who's only been working with me for a couple months now, is going to be one of the my right tackle. He's going to be one of the top tackles in the nation coming out next year. So it's going to be good, man, to see my guys, moving on. Right now we're very sought after right now. And I have a lot of guys that's hitting me on Twitter that want to come and play for me next year. So it's all good, man. It's a lot of fun.
That's
a lot of fun.
That is great. Well, again, congratulations on all your success, Eagles success,
thank you.
High school coaching success, and we hope to have you back on soon and see you back up in the Philly area when we can.
Anytime.
All right, Trey Thomas. For Trey Thomas and Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. You've been watching Inside the Birds TV. Thanks again. Catch you on the next one.